Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to use the ISO 27001 toolkit to implement ISO 27001 into your organization. If you have the business edition or the consultant edition, it's more than just the templates. As you know, with that, you're getting access to me in a one-to-one, so I can meet with you and your team and discuss your project, discuss any roadblocks you've got, and you're getting access to those 40 Q&A sessions a year, those group Q&A sessions where you can ask questions. In this particular tutorial, in this demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and show you a practical implementation of how quick it can be to get yourself up and running. The average implementation time is around about 8 hours, but I'm going to show you how you can do it even faster than that. So let's have a little look. When we get the ISO 27001 toolkit, it's a digital download. We get it immediately upon purchase. That downloads a zip, and we're going to unzip the zip file, and that's going to give us this folder structure. So let's have a little walk through that. So what do we got here? Well, the first thing we've got here is a README file. So it probably makes sense to start off with a README file. The README file is giving us an introduction, contact details to myself, so that you can get additional guidance, and then talking you through the implementation guide checklist, and then giving you some videos and some tutorials. So you will be able to watch those. It is also giving you reference, if you have the business edition or the consultant edition, to those consultation sessions and to those Q&A sessions. Everything that I've got in terms of the implementation guide is provided in blogs. So you're getting access to where those blogs are on the website. Everything in terms of each control, each clause is covered. What it is, what you need to do, common mistakes that people make, what an audit is going to look for. So I'm giving you all of that information, but we're getting a signposting in this particular document as it starts us off. Let's see what else we've got. The next one is the implementation guide. So you're going to be able to follow this step by step, simple implementation guide, very, very simple steps. It talks you through all of the resources that you've got. And then, as you can see, we're going to go through a series of checkpoints. The implementation guide is designed really for people with no knowledge, right? It doesn't assume any prior knowledge. It doesn't assume that you know anything about the standard, and it walks you through it in really, really simple, easy terms. So when you get the toolkit, this is what you're going to open. This is what you're going to walk through. There are different ways to go about implementing this. So the implementation guide gives you the most straightforward way. Then I could see here that we've got the implementation checklist that again breaks it down into simple steps, talking through what it is that we're going to do, each of the checkpoints, branding our documents, assigning our team, documenting things like your policies. And we can see in here that we've got what needs to be done, guidance where it's applicable, and then you're going to complete who's going to do it and when, and then you're going to track whether or not you completed it or not, and when it was reviewed and approved at the management review meeting. So some good foundation documents to start off. Obviously, through years of practice, years of implementing this, I come at it in a slightly different way, but the end result is going to be exactly the same. So what I'm going to start off here is I'm actually going to jump straight into folder 8, because what I want to look at here is the pre-mapped audit template. So I want to see what's going on in terms of the documents that I've been provided and how they map directly to the standard. So what I can see in here is I've got a compliance dashboard. The compliance dashboard is 2013 and the 2022 version of the standard. So straight away, I can see that from the Information Security Management System compliance for 2013 and 2022, it's 100%. And you would expect that, right? So you're buying the 27001 toolkit, the mandatory documents, the mandatory clauses of the ISO 27001 standard, what it is that you'll be audited against. Clauses 4 through 10 are the only mandatory requirements in the standard. And you can also see that there is a mapping to the Annex A controls. So Annex A controls that have been known to mitigate risks, are a series of controls that we're going to choose from to mitigate risks that we've got. We'll cover that. But here again, you can see that there is a mapping. Now it's showing as a major non-conformity because for the Annex A controls, this is a business control. This is a business process, so you have some work to do. But let's have a look at what it is that you're being provided. So if I go through the Information Security Management System, the 2022 version, I can see here that in the audit document, I've got what the control is, what the control objective is, and I can see here that I've already got populated the documents within the template to show how they fully meet the requirement of the standard. So that's going to be a massive time saver, but also gives you a good indication of how complete the toolkit is. So audit rating compliant, because we know the management system is compliant. If I look at the Annex A controls, I can see I've got the same. So each of the Annex A controls, if they are applicable to you, are already going to be pre-mapped to a huge portion of the templates that I'm going to give you. The reason it's showing as non-compliant is the business process, the business element of what you do. You're going to have to write and document that. I can't tell you how to run your business, but through the training, through the guides, through the blogs, you're going to get access to what it is that you need to do, so you can see that how easy that is. So that's great. So I'm already up and running. I'm 100% pretty much compliant, as long as I complete the document, compliant with the standard. And I'm pretty much there in terms of the Annex A controls. So I've orientated myself. I've got an implementation guide. I've got an implementation checklist. I've got an audit document where I can see how that standard is mapped. I can see here that I've got some Information Security Manager guides. So the Information Security Manager guides are the tasks that an Information Security Manager would operate. So if you brought in a consultant, this is how they would operate. If you are a consultant, this is how you will operate. Some of the key processes around the management system itself. So running a management review team meeting, you can see the level of detail that we're going to get within there. So we're talking through detail step by step, how you will conduct that management review, how you will conduct that management team meeting, who's going to do it, etc., and the steps that you need to go through. We have the same thing for doing an internal audit. So again, it's a big task that needs to be undertaken. And for consultants, it's a big part of their time with you. But again, we're talking through step by step how you go about that, creating your plan, and then how you engage with people that you're going to interview and that you're going to audit, the different approaches to audit, updating your audit plan, etc. So you can see that you're getting detailed guides on Information Security Manager roles and steps that they need. If I come into here, so I'm going to start to implement this, right? I'm going to show you how quick and easy this is. And I'm going to start off with the context of organization. The context of organization is understanding a little bit about who you are and the things that influence into your management system. So the first thing we're going to document is our organization overview. This is information that you know about you. This is information about who you are, and it sets the scene. It sets the scene for the auditor. It sets the scene for the audit. So an organization overview talks at a super high level about who you are, your products and services, your locations, your missions, your business objectives. So let me give you by way of an example how quick and easy this would be to update. So I can come in here, change the file to brand it as my organization. So I've got my organization overview in there. I'm going to set this to version 1 because it's the first time that I'm creating the document. I'm going to put my company name in here, which is nice and easy. And so 27001.com. Green text is text usually that 9 times out of 10 you're going to want to change, right? So it's a good visual indicator. All the documents can be changed and updated for you, but it's a good visual indicator of text that I'm guiding you at, and I'm saying, please have a look at this. This is something that you're going to want to review. I'm not going to update every document in this way. I'm just showing you how easy it is. But we'll do it for this particular document. So we'll put today's date in. So this is going to, depending on when you watch the video, and this is going to date that, right? But I'm going to put the date last modified, document first created. So in terms of the organization overview, I can see there's some green text. It's asking us for a brief description about you. Consider it taken from your marketing material. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, right? I mean, it's just setting the scene for the auditor. So ISO 27001.com, an online platform for ISO 27001 templates, training, community, and self-service certification. So we're completely about us. nice and easy. Our products and services, again, we're given some guidance on what that can be, but our products are going to be ISO 27001 templates, ISO 27001 community, ISO 27001 training, ISO 27001 certification. It's nice and easy, right? So whatever yours are, you may be an online CRM, you may be a new AI startup, whatever it may be. And then in terms of the locations, you'd put in here the locations in which you operate. At this stage, we're putting in all the locations. For us, we're going to say we're a tech startup and that we are fully remote. Nice and easy. If I was setting the scene for the auditor and for my if I was setting the scene for the auditor for people that were wanting to understand my management system and understand my organization, I might put a mission statement in here. So our mission is to be the number one everything ISO 27001. Makes sense, right? Absolutely makes sense. And again, it may be that you don't have a mission statement. That's fine. You commit it. Yeah, and we're going to go through and complete things like our values. So honest, usual, open, transparent, whatever your values are, right? Just put your values in there. These are the things that, again, are going to inform our information security management system. And business objectives. Now here you can put a link to your business objectives, but what we want to make sure is that our management system is aligned with our business objectives and that we've considered it. So whether it's a link here or you're actually typing them in, that's entirely up to you. So our business objectives may be annual turnover of, I don't know, 1.5 million in 2026, maybe. We might want to put in here open new markets, break into the Americas, or new markets, whatever it is, right? You're going to put all your business objectives in. I'm just showing you by way of an example. So nice and easy. We can see at the bottom of the document here, we've got a last reviewed and a document owner. We'll come to how we do that later on, but for now, I'm going to put the document owner as me. And I'm going to put the date that this document was last reviewed, which is today, which is the 9th of November 2025. So in a nice, quick, simple, easy way, we've generated our organization overview document. I'm going to file and save that. And if I was to print that and preview that, you can see, opening preview, that document now is a fully branded document that is tailored to my new organization. So I've completed the organization overview. Every document is going to be completed in exactly the same way. Nice, fast, nice and simple. So I'm not going to do each one as we go through. I'm now going to show you through demo the steps and the documents that I'm going to complete. The context of organization document. The context of organization document is looking at the internal issues, the external issues that can affect our organization, and it's looking at the interested parties that we have. And it's all pretty much pre-populated for you. So your only job here is to go through and either agree or disagree with what I've completed, and there is training on how to do that. But I'm just showing you in terms of the demo that you've got a complete context of organization document with some guidance on how to set that up. What we also have is the documented ISMS scope. So when we implement our management system, we apply our management system to something. That something is called the scope. It is rare that the scope would be the entirety of the organization. It's usually the products or services that make us money. They're the things that have commercial benefit to us. So in terms of the documented scope, again, training, videos, guides on how to do it, but we talk about the implementation of our scope statement. Then we talk about what is in scope and exactly what is out of scope. So everybody is clear on what it is that we are going to be applying our management system to, and the auditor knows exactly what it is that they're going to be auditing. We have the legal and contractual register. The legal and contractual register is the requirement to record the laws that apply to us. And in here, We would make reference to standards if we have additional standards that we're implementing in our organisation. Any regulatory requirements that we've got, we would record in here, and any specific contractual requirements that we've got. So sometimes our clients will put particular security contractual requirements on us, and we want to know and make sure that we're adhering to those, and we would put them in here. And then there's a list of legal requirements. Now, the legal requirements is just by way of an example, pre-populated. And when you get to that particular training, it will explain to you that really you're going to need some legal support for that. But you can see that that's pre-populated with some common laws. Yes, they are UK centric because you need legal advice in terms of completing that. But I give you guidance on how to do that as well. So in the toolkit, you have the legal register. We then have the physical virtual asset register. So if you're not in a position where you already record this information in other systems, and you may well do, but again, if you're a startup, you probably don't. So I provide you with a asset register. So the asset register is simply the things that store, process, or transmit data. And there's some key information that we're going to capture around that, but we're going to populate that with our assets. We have a data asset register. The data asset register is based on the data protection ROPA, record of processing activity. What we need to know really is what data we've got so that we can protect it. And in here, I provide you with some additional columns, some additional information that you may choose to capture. That is very data protection specific. You don't have to do that. So you can omit those columns. And when you get to the training, you're going to go through exactly how you go about doing that. We have a software asset license register. This is a requirement that came in with the new version of the standard around intellectual property. So in intellectual property, we have to make sure that we're using software in particular and licensing as it was intended. So we're going to record that here. And again, if you already record this information, absolutely fantastic. You won't need the register. You're just going to follow the training and the guidance that I've given you. Finally, we have the statement of applicability. The statement of applicability is the list of controls that apply to our organisation. So when we go through, we define our scope. We conduct a risk assessment against the scope to understand the risks. And then for the risks that we have, we decide how we're going to manage those. We're either going to accept the risk or we're going to mitigate the risk. And if we're going to mitigate and address the risk, we look at the statement of applicability and choose the controls that are applicable to help us to mitigate that risk. Much more training and videos on that, but you can see easily how we can record that. So that's provided for you as well. So that's the context of organization. We built that, we understand who we are, we understand what we've got, we understand what our scope is, we understand which controls apply to us based on the risks that we've got, and we have our risks all set out. Now what we're going to look at is the Information Security Management System itself. The Information Security Management System, how we manage our information security, has a couple of requirements around it. The first one is our objectives. So we need to understand what is the objective for the Information Security Management System. This can confuse people, and therefore I provide you with a list of very easy to follow, very easy to achieve objectives. And we're recording the mandatory requirements around that, of what will be done, what resources are required, who is responsible, when will it be completed, and how are the results evaluated. So when we're asked for our information security objectives, we're going to be able to provide that, and I give you the framework for setting those objectives, and I give you the training for doing that as well. But that's already been pre-populated for you if you just want to go through there, remove the one or two that don't apply to you, or slightly make an amendment, but they're solid and they've been used countless times. Then what we have is the Information Security Roles and Assigned Responsibilities document. So we have to make sure that we've got the adequate resources to run the management system. What we're going to do here is we're going to document how our management organisation is put together, and then the key roles that we have within that, and we're going to document what their responsibilities are. Okay, so again, if you're starting from a blank page, you might not quite know, therefore I've written that for you. So the various roles that you're going to have, from leadership, information security management leadership, the information security manager, our management review team that's going to conduct our ongoing review, third-party management, business continuity manager, etc. So you can see that we've set those roles out. There is an information security management system overview document. This is really the engine room of the information security management system. So in this document, we're going to set out, and I'm showing you some of the key elements, and we're recording some of the key elements of that management system. So we're going to be recording who our legal representative is, whether that's a third party, whether that's outsourced, whether that's in-house, whether it's somebody we contact ad hoc. Obviously, because there are legal requirements on this, we need to say that somebody has given this approval. So we're going to record that. We're going to record in here how we contact authorities. It's a specific requirement of the standard, contact with authorities, as is contact with special interest groups that you may not know how to go about that. So again, I provide you with that, and I provide you with options on that. Our legal, regulatory and contractual requirements is a requirement of the standard, and therefore we're documenting how we do that as we are with applicable standards. We're also setting out here what the information security objectives are in terms of the framework. So how did we come up with them, right? It's a very valid question. You have some objectives. How did you come up with that list? So this gives you the framework for how you will set objectives, or how you can change them, or how you can review them. And because ISO 27001 is a risk-based management system, we're going to be looking here at what our risk appetite is and what our risk tolerance is. So some standard wording around that with guidance on if you need to change that. For roles and responsibilities at a very, very high level, we're summarizing that roles and responsibilities document, talking about what the role is, what its responsibility is. And from an information security management system perspective, we're going to be documenting and recording that sign off. So just an area here in which we can provide that. Information security manager job description isn't mandatory for the standard, but if you're ever in a position where you want to go and hire one, I provide you with that. And if you want to know what one does, then I provide you with that. It's just an information document, but it can add some value. The competency matrix. So when we have the resources that we need to run the management system, they have to be competent to do the job that we're asking them to do, right? So competence is a requirement of the 27001 standard, and we're going to record that using a competence matrix, a simple matrix. So in a competence matrix, we set out what the information skills are that we have or that we aspire to. We put the employees that we have, and then we do a basic mapping in there of whether or not we've got that skill or not, whether or not we need training or not, or whether or not there's a gap. Right now, usually if you're outsourcing this to a consultant will tick most of these boxes for you, right? It will be very difficult for you to go through for audit of ISO 27001 without having any experience in it or any training in it. So just be aware of that. And again, I give you guidance about how you can do that. But we have that competence matrix. We have an information classification summary. This is really a one-page crib sheet that allows us, once we've identified what our information classification is, it allows us to communicate that in a one-page simple form. So in this methodology, in my methodology, I'm pushing and driving a 3-tier classification system: public, internal and confidential. And I give you guidance on if you want to enhance that or you're working with government. But here you can see on a one page, we can look at the guidance, data protection rules. I can give you examples so that when people are trying to classify their documents, the markup that people would use when they do that, the controls that you would expect to be in place, and then how you would go about destroying that. So a nice easy crib sheet that you're going to get. I give you an information security management system document tracker. This, again, not necessarily a requirement of the standard, but it's part of your project management about how you manage your project, right? We've we've got all of these documents, we've got these templates. Clearly now people need to be keeping them up to date. In our scenario, it's just going to be one individual. It's going to be me or one, two, three person organization. But the more complicated you get, the more people may be involved in that. So it makes sense to record who owns what document, what the current version of it is, when it was last reviewed, tracking when it's going to be next reviewed, and then putting in some general notes. So just a good project management document really to help and support you in terms of your implementation. Here what we have is two accountability stroke RACI matrices with guidance, right? So what we're trying to, and what we have to demonstrate here is we've got the roles, We've identified what the roles and responsibilities are. We've decided who is competent for what. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break down the management system into its constituent components, clause by clause, Annex A by Annex A. And the bare minimum we're going to record is who is the person that is responsible. So that has to be somebody within your organization. And then who is the person that is accountable, i.e. does the work. And this can be a third party as well. But we've got the responsible person, and then we've got the accountable person. So we're going to record that for the Annex A controls. We're going to record that for the ISO 27001 clauses. So as part of our project management now, we know what our structure of information security is. We know what roles we've got, what responsibilities we've got. We know who the people are that are doing those. We know how competent they are and whether or not they're competent. And then for the management system itself, clause by clause, Annex A by Annex A control, we know who is accountable and we know who's responsible, who is actually doing the work. So in terms of the information security management system, that's the information security management system documented. We then move into policies. You can see that we have 28 policies. It may be that you don't need all of these. If you do need them, they're there and they're provided for you, pre-written and ready to go. We'll just give an example. So we've got the high-level information security policy, as you would expect. Policies are statements of what we do, not how we do it. How we do it is covered in process documents. But here you can see the mandatory requirements of the standard are covered in the high-level information security policy. And then we have a policy framework of subordinate topic-specific policies. Topic-specific policies that can be targeted to a specific audience, communicated to a specific audience, and allocated ownership to an individual who it makes sense to provide them with. So common ones in here, things like clear desk and clear screen, fully written, fully documented for you. By way of example here, so we're looking at things like printers and photocopiers, cash, checkbooks, bank cards. Again, if you don't have them, then you'd remove that, right? So we're trying to cover all eventualities, talking about media disposal, desk cleaning, pop-ups, notifications, etc. So a full suite of policies. There's, again, guides, videos on that, and you can see those. Then we have the plans and logs. In the plans and logs, again, part of the project management, we're going to be pulling together our audit plan. So our audit plan for the year, that's going to record what the audit was, so when we did it, and when we're going to do the next parts of the audit. Planning, right? So we're going to plan against, now we're going to planning against the 2022 version. So within the plan, we're saying we're going to break the standard and the Annex A controls into manageable chunks. And then we're going to say when in the year it is that we want to change, that we want to address those. And plan for the year, and then evidence that we did those as well. We have a change log. If you don't have a change management system, you may. Change management is a big part of 27001, so there's a standard change management template that you can use, or you'll be using your existing change management system. And then there is a communication plan. Communication, again, a requirement of the 27001 standard. So in here, I give you some key things that you would want to communicate, including the management reviews and when they occurred. And you're going to go through and say when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, who you're going to communicate it to, and then provide some evidence that you did it. So for example, with the management review, your evidence will be the meeting minutes, or it may be that you've recorded the Teams meeting and you can show evidence of it actually happening. It could be an email or whatever it may be. But we have a log of the communications, both planned and that have happened. We've got an incident, breach and reporting form if you don't have an online system for that, or you can digitize this and turn it into that. And that's going to supplement things like people being able to phone a help desk, email in, or whatever that may be. And we're providing an incident and corrective action log. So again, part of that engine room of our 27001 is handling information security incidents and then generating corrective actions off of the back of that. So training and videos on that when you get to it, but you can see that we can easily record and document incidents that have occurred and then what we've done about those, including our root cause analysis. And we can share that again with the auditors when the time comes to take the audit. In terms of the ISMS management plan, this was a requirement 6.3 introduced in the 2022 update of the standard, was to plan for changes to the management system. It's always been the way, right? We've always done it. Now we just formally document it so that we can show that we do it. So again, we structure our year ahead and we say, what are the things that it is that we're going to be reviewing? So we're going to do update and review of the ISMS, our annual risk review. We're going to do our annual objectives meeting. We're going to prepare for annual certification audit. So all of the things that we know we do around a management system, and then we say what month that we're going to do them in. And if that has already gone past, then we did it. We're going to show it's completed and being able to evidence that. So a bunch of plans and logs, nice and easy to fill in. In terms of the risk management, we're going to give you the risk management procedure. So I talk you through exactly how you conduct risk management. What exactly is it that you need to do? So 27001, a risk-based management system. I give you that. Very easy to follow, very easy to understand. And then I give you an industry-beating risk register. With our risk register, we're able to demonstrate what our risk status currently is, what our risk treatment status is, risk first identified, and then residual risk. So when we identified a risk and then we applied our treatment to it, what did it do to the risk score and where do we stand right now? So a lot more guidance on that in the training, but for now I'm showing you it and I populate that with some common risks. And again, risk granularity, you can watch the videos, jump on a call with me and I can go through that. But these are common risks already pre-populated for you to follow through on and put in place. So you can see it looks a little bit complicated. It's not. The training will go through that for you, talking through about your risk scoring and then your residual risk. But it's already done, right? You don't need to try and create one. I've already given it for you. What we then have is supplier management. Supplier management may be something that you've already digitized. You saw that I give you the Information Security Manager guide to that. I'm also giving you a supplier register. So you can supplement whatever databases and records you've got with the fields in here, or you can use this. Third-party supplier management is huge within 27001 because it's about securing the supply chain. So what we need to know is who our suppliers are, what they do for us. Then we need to get some assurances that they're doing the right thing around certification and around contracts, making sure that we're legally, contractually bound to them for the products or services we're buying, that they're legally obliged to perform some security controls on our behalf, and that we've checked that. And then we're going to do some scoring around that as well that may lead to risk management and adding them onto the risk register. So you can see that you've got a supplier register, again, just written, built in for you, no problem. In terms of training and awareness, I'm not going to cover that because this is things that I cover in my videos, but I provide it for you. So if you feel confident in explaining what I've explained and what I explain in my videos, then I provide you with the training materials that I cover in there. Audit you've already seen. So in terms of audit, I give you the audit working papers already pre-mapped, so you don't have to fill that in. So these are all of the templates and how they map to the clauses and the Annex A controls. I give you a blank audit template if you want to start from scratch, or you're a consultant and you're working on a client who doesn't follow the toolkit. I give you audit meeting minutes because part of the process, we're going to record those meetings, right, that we have that allow us to evidence the evidences that we come up with. Although I do give you the guidance to record in the Teams recording the meetings where possible. And there's the audit report. So the report that we give out to management off of the back of the work that we've done on internal audits. Nice and easy. So I give you the process, I give you the working papers, meeting minutes, and I give you the audit report that you share out with management. In terms of business continuity, there are a number of business continuity templates that I give you above and beyond 27001. These are actually 22301. So we're going to give you the business impact assessment. Again, high level, pre-completed for you, but with guidance on how to do that. And then definitions that you can amend and change yourself from the various impact levels when you're doing your assessment. Nice and easy. I give you an exec summary of the business impact analysis so that you can share that with your management teams and you can record that in a way that they potentially will understand a little bit easier than within working papers. All of these required when it comes to the audit. I give you the business continuity objectives and strategy, which you'll be able to go through. Again, fully aligned with 22301, right? Business continuity, availability of data is massive. and therefore I think it's worthwhile supplementing the basic toolkit with these additional tools. I give you an example business continuity plan, and I talk you through how you can complete that. Sometimes that's difficult for people to understand how to create a business continuity plan. So I provide you with that, and I provide you with some scenarios as part of that as well. So absolute massive time saving. A business continuity incident log. Again, you may use your incident management system or not, but if you haven't got anything and you're building this from scratch, you're a startup, you're an early stage, and I'm providing you with where you would record your business continuity incidents. We have a post-incident review form. So when a business continuity event happens, we're going to do some root cause analysis on it. We've got to recover and get back to production. So there's all the guidance and all the documentation training around that, but there's also a document in how you record that and report that. There is disaster recovery scenarios. So again, you might have some work to do on these, but at a high level, what we're going to do is we're going to work through scenarios. What are the things that in our business, could lead to a disaster, and then what would we do around it in that scenario? So I give you a template to record that. I give you some examples around that. So you can see here. So we start to go through the various steps that you would go through, right? Nice and easy. I also give you a business continuity desktop test. The business continuity desktop test, we're going to do these annually. Again, people are like, I'm not too sure about how I would go about that. So I provide you with a test that you can run through with your teams. Setting up various scenarios. They get increasingly more complicated or increasingly more disastrous so that you can see how your teams react to that. And then the improvement element. So what did we learn? What went well? What could we do better? Etc. I give you the guide step by step how to do it. So the words that you need, exactly how we should be going through this, the scenarios that we should be going through, how frequently we should be doing it, how long you need for the desktop test. So I walk you through that in detail. And I give you the template for that so you can record your own test. So you've got a good template in place there so you can record your own test and the results of your own test. Finally, I give you the report, so the framework for the report so that you can report out the findings from the test to senior management and to the key stakeholders. We're talking through what were our summaries, what are our observations, did we introduce any new key risks, what things do we need to consider moving forward, what things do we need to do, to what things do we need to change. And again, from an audit compliance point of view, we're going to provide a list of the attendees. So who was it that was actually part of the test? So a lot of work there in terms of business continuity, 22301 above and beyond 27001. I show you what the differences are. So, if you want to do the bare minimum, but well worth spending time with, irrespective of whether you're going for certification or not. I then provide you with two meeting templates. These are the two mandatory meetings that you're going to go through. Your annual risk review, which is part of our initial build. We're going to do our annual risk review as part of our build. And that just talks through how we did it and then what the key findings were out of the back of that, pre-populated and pre-filled in. So it's nice and easy, right? You'll be able to work through that, just add your names in. And then the management review team meeting, which is the meeting that will happen as frequently as you dictate it, ideally monthly. But this follows the structured agenda of the requirements of the standard. So, we can put in who our attendees are, and we can formally document things like new agenda items, existing agenda items. We can follow the structure of the requirements of the standard, and I give you the training and the videos and the guidance on how you do that. So these things are baked in. Changes in external issues, non-conformities, corrective actions, monitoring, measurement of results, audit results we have to record, fulfillment of our objectives, reviewing those, feedback from interested parties, etc. So I've created that for you. I show you how to do that, populating that for you, and then we're measuring against our information security objectives. So if you're like, oh, how do I do a management review? I tell you, and I give you the minutes on how to do it. In terms of procedures, there are a couple of things that I do give you. So I said at the outset, Annex A is a business controls, right? It's how you do HR. It's about how you do HR background checks. It's about how you do change control, how you do software development. So there are a lot of things in Annex A that can't be templated for you because it would be us, me, somebody else telling you how to run your business. In addition to which, the Annex A controls are not mandatory. So they're not mandatory, and the level to which you implement them, if you do implement, isn't mandatory either. So if I provide you with a template, it could be providing you it for something that you don't need to do, or I could be telling you to do it to a level that you don't need to do it to. Where an Annex A control is generic, so things like threat intelligence, role-based access, then you'll see that those procedures are provided for you. Because the toolkit is more than just templates, the resources that you have for Annex A are the detailed blogs with detailed implementation and audit checklists, and the detailed videos and the video guides that ideally, I think if you got to this point, you've probably already seen them, so you can see the level that's in there. So that's the ISO 27001 toolkit as a walkthrough. As I say, the average to implement this is probably between 2 and 4 hours, right? I could implement this in between 2 and 4 hours, no issue, and have an effective information security management system up and running. Within 8 hours, that would involve padding out some of the key elements. So what do I mean by that? So within 8 hours, you know, the detail that we've gone into the risk review would probably be more. The detail that we go into the management review would be more. So by supplementing some of these areas, that's where it's going to start to bring you, you know, further into that 8-hour implementation mark. And if you want to go into a deep dive, you want to fully understand each of the controls and consume the materials, then that's where it can push it out a little bit more. So it's really going to be on, that's more about learning, right? The actual doing and implementing between 2 and 8 hours, supplementing that with all of the training will be as long as it takes you to watch the videos and read the blogs. That will give you an effective information security management system. The mandatory requirements of ISO 27001 clauses 4 through 10. The only thing really that you're going to be certifying against. The Annex A controls are non-mandatory controls that mitigate risks that you've got. You're going to record them in the statement of applicability, implement them to a control level that's appropriate to you. And all that will happen at the audit is the auditor will say, well, what level did you say you were going to implement it to? Show me that you did it. So if you said, well, I didn't implement it, I accepted the risk, show me you accepted the risk. If you implemented a weak control but accepted it, show me that you implemented the weak control. What you don't want to do is say that you implemented the strongest control that there is and then actually in reality implemented a weak control. Or you don't want to say that you implemented a control and then you didn't, right? If you do what you say you do, then you're going to be absolutely golden. So nice, easy, quick implementation. In one of the other videos, I'll actually go through it and I'll fill it in. And then you can see exactly how long it takes, you know, if there's any doubt about what I'm saying in terms of the time frame. Hope that added some value. Thank you. Till the next one. Peace out.